Have you ever had those moments, or maybe you've had several of them, where you're like, wow, life is really here teaching me a bunch of lessons that I don't think I signed up for? I have had those moments quite often in the last couple of years, especially. But it got me thinking. I was journaling the other day and I was reflecting upon some of the life lessons that I've learned and things that have changed me and changed my perspective. And I wanted to share them with you. So, the first one is that peace is definitely a skill. It's not a circumstance. There was a time in my life when I thought peace meant everything around me had to be calm. No drama, no stress, no people arguing over group text or whatever it was, family disputes. But peace isn't about your surroundings at all. It's about your settings, the internal kind. I once spent an entire morning meditating, like the candles, the tea, the meditation playlist. I was calm, centered, and felt enlightened. And then I opened up one email, gone, poof, in the air. Inner peace evaporated. That's when it hit me. I was peaceful until life did what it does. Peace isn't about avoiding chaos. It's about learning to breathe when chaos arrives anyway. It's like emotional Pilates. I was thinking about this the other day. Your core strength, in staying centered and grounded, even when life's doing all these splits around you and making you go this way and that way, it's about staying centered. The next lesson is being kind to yourself is not a weakness. I used to think that self-care and self-compassion meant letting myself off the hook, which was interesting because I had that concept, that idea for a very long time. But bullying yourself never made you better. It just made you tired, forcing yourself to do things when you really didn't want to. I remember once giving a talk that didn't go as planned. Halfway through, my brain decided to forget my next point mid-sentence. I just stood there smiling, and after I spiraled a little bit, that inner voice was trying to bully myself. You should have done better. How could you mess that up? And then, I realized, I paused for a second, and then you realize no one noticed anyway, probably. You were the only one that was being mean to yourself, and it was true. That was the moment that I decided to retire that inner critic as much as I can and hire an inner coach, a positive coach that says, "We'll get it next time. It's okay. You're human." Because being kind to yourself doesn't make you lazy. It makes you resilient. It makes you more compassionate for other people too. We are all human. We all make mistakes. It's okay. The next lesson is a biggie for me. Oh my God, this set me free on so many levels. Not everything deserves a reaction. It's a fun one, but painful. I got into a heated debate about something quite ridiculous. I mean, really ridiculous. And I was typing really in a hurry, full sentences, full paragraphs, emojis and everything. And then I realized I am wasting my time trying to win this stupid argument that doesn't even matter. It's not even going to matter a minute from now, 5 minutes from now, a day from now. That was the day that I learned the 3-second pause. Before reacting, I asked myself, is this worth my peace, my time, and my data plan? I mean, if the answer is no, I close the app and go on and live my life. Silence isn't about being rude. It doesn't mean that you're lost, that you lost the battle. It means you mastered selective energy distribution. How we spend our energy matters. Some things just don't deserve a response. You can't be bullied into. I know I have people that because I don't respond, they will bully me. They have in the past. Why haven't you responded? You always had time before. What's wrong with you? What's more important? Blah, blah, blah. And you know what? Those are the people that really, really don't need a response. You need to pick and choose how and when you react and what deserves your energy. Next lesson is that we outgrow what you don't heal. We love to say the new year, new me, but if you don't deal with your old wounds, it's just going to be the same you in new shoes or new clothes. I remember a time I kept on attracting the same type of friendship. I was the fixer, the therapist, the peacemaker. They'd call in the crisis, I'd drop everything, and eventually I'd be the one that was exhausted. Different people, same pattern. And that's when I realized if the same story keeps repeating, you're not cursed, you're being coached. Meaning your healing means you finally stop rehearsing old patterns and new situations. It's uncomfortable as all get out, okay? But very freeing. And once you outgrow your wounds, you stop mistaking chaos for connection. And that's when you know that you're healing. When peace starts feeling more familiar than the drama, that's when you know that you're healing. The next lesson is that joy is not the opposite of pain. I used to think that joy only shows up after the storm. Like, once everything's fixed, then I'll be happy. No, it doesn't happen. It rarely sends that memo. The universe doesn't work that way. I learned this in the weird way. I was going through something tough, kind of a heartbreak, where even your playlist starts judging you. One night, a friend dragged me out for dinner and I didn't want to go. But at one point, we started laughing, like just uncontrollably, over something so ridiculous. And for those minutes, the heaviness lifted. And that's when I realized joy and pain aren't really opposites. They can coexist. They exist in the same breath. Sometimes the joy is a tiny light that sneaks in while your heart's still trying to heal. And that's what makes it sacred. So don't be afraid of feeling joy, even in the midst of some of your deep grief and deep pain. It's okay. It's part of the healing process. The next lesson is let people be wrong about you. Oh boy. I used to waste so much energy trying to explain myself, and I still do with certain people. I'm still trying to unlearn this one, but this was a big lesson. Trying to make sure that everyone understands your intentions, your boundaries, your silence. Then one day, someone misunderstood me in a way that was so weird, I couldn't even fix it. It was like watching a rumor run a marathon while I stood there, in sandals or something, and I realized I don't have to chase every misunderstanding. People will project. People will assume. And sometimes letting them be wrong is the most peaceful thing that you can do. It actually can be entertaining. You're not everyone's cup of tea, and you're not for everyone. And that's okay. Stop trying to connect everywhere. Protect your signal. Protect your energy in that way. It doesn't matter what people think. People are going to assume and think whatever they want to. The next lesson is that rest is how you remember who you are. There was a stretch of time where I was constantly busy. And because being busy made me feel so useful, if I wasn't multitasking, I was feeling guilty. And then one day I got so burned out. And I took it just personally in a way. That's when I realized, you know what? Rest is not laziness. It's maintenance. It's how your body, mind, and soul recharge. Enough to keep creating, loving, and showing up for people. When you rest, you reconnect with the version of yourself that isn't defined by output or productivity. Sometimes that's the version that's been waiting the longest to be seen. I tell you, I've been more productive, quote unquote productive, in my restful periods. You have got to incorporate rest in your life. It is a huge game changer. The last lesson I want to talk to you about today, I want to leave you with today, is that you're allowed to be a work in progress and a masterpiece at the same time. When we spend so much of our lives chasing that better version of ourselves, we forget to appreciate the current one. I remember one time I was looking at an old journal full of worries that I had years ago, and I realized I'm living in the answers to the prayers that once kept me up at night. Wow. And I just had such a sense of gratitude. And you don't have to have it all figured out to be proud of yourself. You can be learning, healing, and still worthy of all the joy and love right now in this moment. You're not behind. You're blooming every single day, and every masterpiece has brush strokes that look messy up close. I mean, you are this beautiful masterpiece. So these are, in my reflective time last week, in my journaling, these are the 8 life lessons that I have learned so far, and I've learned many more. I will share many more with you along the way. These, maybe one of these made you smile. Maybe one hit a little bit deeper. Either way, I hope it reminded you that life isn't about perfection. It's about participation. We don't learn from being flawless. We learn by being fully human and participating. If this episode gave you something to think about, share it with someone who could use a little hope, a little humor, and a reminder that they're doing just fine. If you haven't already, please hit the follow or subscribe button and join our community. We're all out here learning as we go, and it's a lot easier when we do it together and more enjoyable. So, a reminder is that even in the middle of your becoming, you're already enough. Thank you so much for joining me. Until next time.